What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Project Heart for God, H4G for short. My name is Kevin, and on this channel we discuss all things faith-based. Today we are talking about paying it forward. What does that mean, you may ask? Stick around and find out. So, as I was going through the week, something that dawned on my heart was that there is a special place. There's a special place in God's heart for those who are widows, those who are fatherless, those who are orphans, and those who are sojourners. And it got me thinking, if we profess to be men and women after God's own heart, then what is on God's heart should matter to us and be on our hearts as well. Beloved, if you don't believe that these folks have a special place in God's own heart, just follow with me to Psalm chapter 68, verse 5, and in James as well. I'll start with the Psalms. The Psalms tells us, "The Father of the fatherless and protector of widows is God in his holy habitation." And then if we go on over to James chapter 1, verse 27, lets us know that religion that is pure and undefiled before God the Father is this: to visit orphans and widows in their affliction, and to keep oneself from the world. So I have a challenge for you today. And I have a challenge for you in the midst of this virus, and a challenge for you in the midst of the chaos, a challenge for you in the midst of anxiety, in the midst of adversity. What do we do for these who God has called that He's the protector of them, that He's the one who cares for them? What do we do? My challenge for you is this. I want you to find at least one person, whether it be a widow, orphan, or even someone who's going through such a difficult time right now, who's been affected so much by this virus, and bless that person financially. Give them a gift. And if you're in a position where perhaps you're not working yourself, perhaps you may be a student, or whatever the case may be, you're not able to give financially, it doesn't stop there. I have a challenge for you as well. I want you to give your time and your effort, and call somebody who is in distress, call somebody who is in need, and have them in your mind. Beloved, prayer is wonderful and prayer is great, but sometimes prayer becomes somewhat of a handicap. Because we say, "Oh, I'll be praying for you." But when we have the means to do something about it, when we have the means, whether it be financial or emotional, or just be giving our time to do something to help the person, beloved, it's on us to be able to help as best as we can. So I have that challenge for you today. And just do and see what God will do. How much should you give, you may ask? The answer to that is whatever God may place on your heart. I ask you to be obedient to the Holy Spirit and to listen to what God has placed on your heart to give. And I just want to clarify why we give. Why do we give? I want to clarify very clearly on this channel that we do not give to get a blessing, to get some financial blessing or something that's on our heart for whatever particular reason. That's not why we give. But rather we give to be a blessing unto others. We give because Christ gave His only Son, His only begotten Son to us, that whosoever shall trust in Him shall not perish, but have everlasting life. Freely we received from God, and so therefore freely we give to others. That's how this works. And through that, there is a blessing within that is inexplicable joy. The blessing is this inexplicable joy that we're able to have to be a blessing unto somebody else. When God says that He takes care of His people, how do you think that happens? It happens because God uses you and me to get that done. And it's such a joy, we should consider it such a privilege to be able to be used by God to be a blessing unto somebody else. Why we give, to be a blessing unto another person. But I want us to clarify, and I wrote this down because I want to make sure that I get this exactly right in sharing with you that when we give, we're giving to express love unto the other person. We are called to love one another. And I notice this, what I want to say is, if you spend your entire life loving people who only love you, then you're going to spend a lot of time not loving at all. Love, in this sense, giving without expecting anything back in return. If you expect something, then that love was never love to begin with. It's not truly love because love requires sacrifice. And one of those sacrifices is for you to humble yourself and remove the pride and the expectation you have, so that God's love may be made known to another human being. Even after Christ died for us, He still didn't require for us to love Him back. So too, then we must love without expecting anything in return. We must give in this sense without expecting anything in return. Love back in the day, that's how the church made it. They gave and gave and gave out of the abundance of their heart that no one had lack. There was not a single person with lack. What will we do today as we see people struggling? What will we do today as we see people losing their jobs, as we see people who are sitting down with nothing to eat, wondering how they're going to pay their bills? If you're in the US, wondering when is the stimulus check going to come through? And best believe that check has already been spent. So what do we do as believers who are still gainfully employed, who are still so blessed even in this time? Some who are even profiting in this time. What do we do? I encourage you, give and be a blessing unto those who are around you. Give and see what the Lord will do. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed that video. If you did, please go ahead and like, comment, share, subscribe. As I'm saying, let's go ahead and give to be a blessing unto other people. Those especially who are orphans, the fatherless, the widows, who have a special place in God's heart and should have a special place in our own hearts as well. And see what God will do.